And press record. Okay, we should be there. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good to see some new faces and some regular faces. Welcome to Herefordshire Means Business Networking Online. We're back again. We're into October already. Where has the year gone? Well, we all know where the year's gone, and we'll be glad to get to the end of it, I think. My name's Rich. I'm one of the gang here at Herefordshire Means Business, and the rest of the team are with me all around the place. So if we just go through the team, Kim, say hi. Kerry. And Richard. So that's the team here, and we've got our guest speaker as well. I am recording the session, the meeting, and if you want to say hello to everyone in the chat, please do so. If you want to share your LinkedIn contact details, if you want to connect with everyone on LinkedIn, please put that in the chat as well. What I'll do either today or tomorrow is send over a link to where the recording goes, and also a copy of the chat, so you can all see everyone else's information in there if you don't have time to connect to everyone straight away here and now. If you've got any things you want to share or any questions you've got for our speaker, please also put those in the chat box, or just put a Q and we'll come to you direct as and when with your questions. I've got a couple of announcements afterwards before we call a close, but before we do anything else, I think we need to have time with our speaker. I'm really looking forward to hearing from Becca or Rebecca or Beck. I'm not quite sure what she likes to be called, and she is our speaker today. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, Beck, and then the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rich. Actually, I am not going to tell you about me at the moment. I am going to save that for when I kind of get into full flow, I guess. That's probably the best way to put it.
Okay.
So hopefully, have you guys got pen? Well, I can see you all, because when I switch my screens in a minute, I can't, and then it's all going to go to pot. But while I can see you all, have you all got pens and bits of paper? Beautiful notebooks. Someone in there has definitely got a twinkly notebook. I'm absolutely sure of it. Lush. Okay. So before we start, can you just write something down for me? Okay, so in big letters and big numbers, 07 721 907 780. So 07 721 907 780. So the super switched on amongst you will probably recognize that as a mobile phone number. I'm going to talk to you today for a really small chunk of time about a really, really, really big topic. And it may well stir some stuff up in you that makes you think you want to dive a little bit deeper. So my gift to you today, my thanks really for having me, is pick up the phone. Okay, if something resonates with you particularly today and you want to look a little bit deeper, a little bit further, and a little bit more private forum, then please do get in touch via WhatsApp or text message or phone call, because I literally can scratch the surface and poke around a bit and ask some questions, not like literally poke around in you, but poke around a bit and ask some questions today. But there are things that we will uncover that I will run whole workshops on and spend hours and things like that on. And I can't do that with you today. I just really want to kind of fiddle about a bit and see what we can uncover. So please do pick up the phone, okay? So that is what I'm going to suggest before we start. So hopefully, if I share my screen now, oh, interesting. Bear with. Have I got it now? Yay! Can you see my slides now? If anyone, Rich is nodding. I love you, Rich. I'm looking forward to that kind of feedback. Thanks, Ad. Okay, so this is where we're at today. We have come together at a very, very strange time. And you are probably all coming at this from a very different place, but I want to talk to you today about feeding your soul and not feeding your face. Now, that's a sweeping statement, and it's not me accusing you of anything during lockdown particularly, but it's about reminding you, let's say, the importance of nourishing and nurturing and protecting your most important asset. Because however hard we're working in business, sometimes our focus shifts from ourselves to everything else. And we need to change the angle, poise, light a little and shine that light back on ourselves and make sure that we are at our best to be able to give of our best. So feeding your soul, topping yourself up, that's what today is all about. So, wow, COVID-19, who would have thought that a small word like that could have such a massive impact on us over 2020? Are we going to look back on 2020 favourably? I'm not so sure. Many of us have found ourselves working from home. I'm not sure whether some of you are still able to go into your work environment or not, whether you're actively choosing to do that. But for a lot of us, we have spent 6-7 months working from home. Have any of you had the joys of homeschooling children in that time too? Yeah, man, I've even worked as a teacher, and that was a real joy. So many things in the last 7 months have changed, both on a personal level and obviously on a business level as well. Unquestionably, we have been walloped into this massive period of change. The result of that for some people has been isolation. They are cut off from massive chunks of their life, both in a social and in a business point of view. You know, I have people all around me that are suddenly aware that they are working in an environment where they've now got family members as well. I have clients that have talked to me about, you know, if I hear him breathe while he's tapping away on the laptop next to me, I might just smash him with a rolling pin. I'm like, okay, right. So things are, you know, that family presence, family pressures are different when we've been working from home. We are parents, we are not teachers, but suddenly we've been thrown into teaching our children. So our roles have been blurred even amongst the family. Our business pressures have been different. We still need to deliver, but we're now delivering not in touch with the people that are around us in the office all the time, maybe. But everybody's business pressures are different, and that is compounded at every layer of our business. There have been massive changes in our routines, you know, right from actually the children don't need to be up at 6:45 in the morning because, well, I'm not starting homeschooling at 8 o'clock in the morning. So just the time we get out of bed has changed. The time we go to bed at the other end of the day has changed. When we're eating, when we're doing things, lots and lots of changes in our routine. The routine is also really important for just having some kind of structure to our life. But those changes in routine have far-reaching knock-on consequences. Inertia for some of us. Now, this isn't everybody. Some people have used lockdown to like leap into action, and suddenly that I remember the number of mums that were doing Joe Wicks with their kids, you know, Joe Wicks PE at the start. Well, I think that lasted for about, I don't know, 4 days or something before they pulled something or they, you know, hurt something, and suddenly the inertia kicked in. So inertia isn't necessarily just in terms of your activity, but it can be in that whole feeling of, is life still moving or have we stagnated? And then we're at home, like in the office, we might have to get up and go to a different room to make a cup of coffee where the biscuit tin is. But at home, maybe you're working at the kitchen table and the biscuit tin is only in the cupboard over there. The temptations are around us so much more. So this is why we're here today, because lots and lots of things have changed and the results for you may well be very different. So my job today really is to help you to acknowledge your reality. So what are things like for you right now? What have things been like for you over the last 7 months? We're going to look at what our priorities are within some particular areas of our life. And then we're going to target some small changes, because the idea is ultimately we want to regain some sense of balance if we feel like lockdown has set us out of kilter a little bit. So that is the plan. And I am going to take you through some areas of life, and I'm going to ask you to make some reflections and to give you some options. So that is the aim of today, and I hope that that will be helpful. So how does that sound from the people I can see? Does that sound like it's going to be useful today? Awesome. Thank you, Richard, for a big thumbs up. Love that. So some of you are probably wondering who on earth is this Doris that's been wheeled in here to talk to us, and she's going to, is she going to be one of these waggy finger types? Hopefully not. I don't really feel like I'm in that camp, and if I do wag my finger about something, I don't mean to. So a whistle-stop tour of Beck and where she has come from. So by training, I am a biological scientist. I studied microbiology at university up in Glasgow, and then I studied for a PhD in infection and immunity in Nottingham, and that is where I met my husband. We then got married, had children, and I decided to take up teaching. I was a primary school teacher for 5 years between getting married and having children, because I wanted something that would allow me to be a parent. Being a parent is a very important part of my life. That kind of didn't work out by the time I had my second child, but my love of biological sciences, my fascination with the human body and just how ace it is as a machine was rekindled through my children, really. And I retrained as a nutrition and well-being coach. And that's something that I absolutely love. A privilege to work with people in so many different ways, one-to-one, looking at their nutrition, right the way through to working with companies and helping them improve their focus and their productivity based on nutrition and well-being. So that's been a real privilege to develop that side of the practice. I'm also a proud forever business owner. Now, a lot of people come across network marketing companies and unfortunately come across them done really badly. They will promise you the moon on a stick and this is going to cure you of cancer. And unfortunately, some of my colleagues within Forever Living have been like that. I've got a couple of nods there. I know some of you have met them. I can only apologise. I'm very proud of the products that I work with, some of which support my clients, and I'm very proud of the company that I work with. So that is still very much a really important part of my business. Ultimately, I grew up a tomboy, and I was, and I still am very much an outdoor girl. So I'm a massive advocate of green well-being. I'm a massive advocate of getting outside and getting some big sky above you. It's a great leveler in life. So it's no wonder really that as part of my business, I also trained as a Nordic walking instructor. So have you ever seen someone walking around with the poles and thinking, where's the skis? What's all that about? Have a conversation with me afterwards, because that is a part of my week that I absolutely love. My Nordic walking team are a great bunch of people, and being able to walk and talk is a brilliant thing to do. People talk to you in a very different way when they're not sitting face to face or sitting across a room. So to be able to go out for a muddy dog walk or that kind of thing, is a brilliant way of connecting with my clients. And I'm blessed to be able to incorporate that as part of my business too. But as I said, most importantly, I am a mother to 2 boys. I am also blessed now as a co-parent to 2 more incredible children too, because having been a wife for 15 years, I was then at the age of 40 very suddenly widowed. But learning to accept love back into life again after loss has been a very, very interesting journey. And all of those pretty colours are a reflection of the rainbow that I believe my life has been, and everything that has been in life before has brought me to where I am now. So I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not a counsellor, I'm not an occupational therapist, I'm none of those things that will probe into your life in that respect and tell your bosses or tell you that you are not fit to be at work. I'm human, I'm flawed, and I'm real. So if any of you were expecting a sort of wafty whale music, incense burning well-being type lady to come in, absolutely Rich, yeah, to waft into your call today, that's not really me. I am still a tomboy. I am quite earthy. I am pretty grounded, and I kind of keep things as real as I possibly can. And sometimes that can be a bit brutal, but it always comes from a place of love and support. So that is who I am. And now I want to talk about you. So I want you to think about what life has been like for you in the last 7 months, because my God, it has been weird. So for you, just write down on your pad a moment, what has happened for you over the last 7 months? What have you noticed about your life in terms of your work life? And I don't just mean focus on the problems or your challenges, but what have you noticed? What is it? Just that you're working from home, or is it that you're missing that person that used to irritate the hell out of you in the office, but you're even missing them now? You know, what is it that you've noticed is different now? It's not necessarily something that you can change, but something that you have noticed. One of my sons is only 10, and his kids in his class, I've never met such a noisy group of children, even in the time I was teaching. But when George was at home trying to be homeschooled at home, he missed that noise. He really struggled to work in a quiet house. They don't even say anything. They just make weird noises. I've noticed that when I've been in to help, or I've helped with cubs or something. They just make an and I'm like, what? But that's what he's been used to. So have you been used to working in the hustle and bustle and suddenly it's really quiet? You know, what have you noticed about your work life? What impact has it had on your home life? Are you spending more time with your family, or are you spending more time with the family? What have you noticed about your health, about your diet, about your physical wellness? Have you used lockdown as an opportunity to get fit, get out, make some changes because you've got some time for you? Or have you noticed a few COVID curves, bit of a pandemic punch? You know, what's happening for you? What have you noticed about your physical fitness, your taking the time to exercise? And how about your emotional strength? Has it given you a chance to bed in, to ground, to really feel like actually I can spend some quality time with myself, being sure of what I'm doing? Or has it knocked you sideways? Because if it has, that's okay. It's been weird. This is not something that we had kind of expected. So hopefully, in those few minutes, you've had a chance to think about some of the things that have been going on for you. And what I want to do this massive subject any justice, is to just concentrate on 4 key areas for the next few minutes and sort of whistle stop our way through those and ask you some questions and give you some ideas, okay? So first of all, we are going to look at activity and exercise. And I hear you, brothers and sisters. I haven't got time for that. And I'm going to say make time. That might not be what you wanted to hear. That might be like the worst PE teacher ever going, yes, you are. But for goodness sake, do what you love. Okay, if you cannot stand the thought of a sweaty aerobics class, don't do it. If the thought of going swimming and someone else's plaster floating past you on the pool, or using, I don't even know, are you allowed to use the showers at the moment? I can't even remember. But the thought of getting wet, if that's not your bag, don't tell me you're going to go swimming, because you're not. But do something that you love. If you love to be outside, get outside. If you love to go for a run, go for a run. If you love to be in the nice, warm, dry shed on your exercise bike, then do that. But whatever it is, do something that you love. Shoulda, woulda, coulda is cobblers. Don't do that. Do something that you love. That's where I want you to focus your thoughts when we talk about activity and exercise. Don't underestimate the power of walking. You live in one of God's most beautiful counties. Bit jealous on that front. I grew up in Worcestershire. Hereford is absolutely stunning. You have so much big, beautiful open space around you. So don't underestimate how powerful just getting outside and walking it. Oh, I've just been for a walk. No, you've been for a walk. It's great for your metabolism. It's great for your mood. It's great for helping weight loss. And that in turn is going to decrease your risk of things like cancer and diabetes. It tones your legs, it tones your bottom, it kind of tones up your arms, it tones your, it sounds amazing, doesn't it? Let's get out and do it. But ultimately, whatever you do, I want you to think about being purposeful. This is what means that we can make time for it. So exercise on purpose or with a purpose. If you've got kids and at the moment you're taking them back to school in the car, could you walk? Again, I appreciate you live in a massive county, so you might have to get in the car. But could you walk a bit of that journey? So purposefully, I've got to take these kids to school, I'm going to walk them. Have you got a dirty hound? This is my dirty hound, this is Lottie Lightfoot. So for me, she's a brilliant reason why I just have to get out every single day. It's a brilliant reason to make sure the boys get off their screens and get outside. If you don't have a dirty hound, maybe you've got a dirty human. So I walk mine on the coastal path in all weathers, bless him. He has no choice but to be out walking everywhere. And thankfully, he quite enjoys that too. If you've got to get the shopping done, can you walk somewhere local to get the shopping done? Walking around with your shopping bags, marching around the supermarket rather than ambling around with the trolley, avoiding the people that just stop in the middle of the aisles. You know, can you get active when you're doing your shopping? Think of the things that you need to do in life. How can you build exercise and activity into that? And if all else fails, when you're doing the housework, maybe you just need to get a little bit more ready. All right, so there are lots of ways that you can ramp up the activity in a manageable way. So challenge yourself. Is activity something that you need to look at? I'm a massive advocate of the change one thing principle. In the area of fitness and well-being and health overall, we are bombarded with shizzle all the time. And it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all of the options and all of the choices. So for each thing that we go through today, I want you to choose one thing that you could change. But that one thing needs to be realistic. Don't tell me that you're going to go running first thing in the morning when we're about to enter autumn and winter. It's going to be dark. It's probably going to be wet and windy if you're not going to do it. What could you achieve? Because that's where that little nugget of change is going to come from. So for you, what is that thing? Write it down. Because writing it down helps us to commit to it. So 30 seconds, if that, I'm being very generous with 30 seconds. I don't think I've got 30 seconds to spare. Write down what one thing you could do differently in terms of your activity and your exercise. And if it is be more Freddie, then go for it. Liberate your inner Freddie. Okay. So the next thing we're going to look at is food and nutrition. Okay, and again, I hear you. I haven't got time. It's too, I haven't got time. Make the time, because making the time here, again, is what will make such a difference. It's about balancing routine, regularity, and preparation. Okay, so if you can think about life with some sense of routine, and I know routines have changed a lot, but look at what your routine is, because building regularity into your eating is really important. That will stabilize your metabolism. That will also stabilize your blood sugars. So regularity in our eating patterns is really important. If we've got some kind of routine, then we can build preparation into that routine. Because all of those things are going to work together to keep us on track. If we've built preparation in, if we've built some planning in, if you plan, then you can shop online, you can get sorted with your shopping, so you're saving time with that because you don't have to go to the supermarket necessarily, even though that would be a great way to exercise. But you could plan stuff, you could shop online, and it would save you money as well. Amazing. Same principle. Don't focus on the things that you don't like. Oh, I don't like that. I don't know. What is quinoa anyway? Oh man, quinoa, kale. If you don't like them, don't eat them. Focus on what you love to eat. Come from an I can kind of place. I can like that. I can eat that. I love to eat that. But if you can focus on fresh, natural, whole foods, they are your friends. And when I say fresh, natural, whole foods, I mean this. If you can pull it off a tree, pick it off a bush, dig it out the ground, or you've just chased it around a field, winner. Okay, those are brilliant things to concentrate on. Rainbows are your friends. I say this all the time, but rainbows are your friends. Rainbows mean variety. Okay, so the more variety we have in our food, the better. Not in terms just of our nutrient profile, which will be very rich if we're eating a rainbow, but in terms of what that means for our microbiome, the bugs that are then in our gut working on our behalf. So the rainbow is your friend. The more colours, the better. A little word about stimulants. Obviously, none of us rely on these, do we? So caffeine, how reliant are you on caffeine at the moment? When you get to that point in the evening when you're starting to flag, does the chocolate come out the fridge? Cheers, Rich. Does the chocolate come out the fridge? And does the kettle go on? Because if we're tired and our body's telling us we're tired, how many of us go, oh, I'm going to need a cup of tea. Oh, I better get a brew on. Or we could go to bed because we're tired. There's a crazy thought. But caffeine for so many of us overrides the natural messages that our body is sending us. So alcohol, same kind of thing. You know, have you told yourself that you need a drink to relax? Did that Saturday and Sunday drinking, or Friday night and Saturday night drinking, suddenly eke its way into Sunday? And has it now started on a Thursday? So maybe some of those things have changed for you too. We think we'll sleep better when we have a drink. We really don't. So I'm just asking you to be mindful of what's happening for you on the alcohol front as well. And sugar, big letters, because sugar is the big thing. And this is something I run a whole kind of series of talks on. Sugar is the most addictive substance on the planet. It is more addictive than heroin and cocaine. So if you're struggling to get on top of your sugar, then there's definitely stuff that we can talk about to help you to do that in a very gradual step-by-step process that we can take you through after this call. So just be mindful of that. However, it is all about the balance. You know, I might have said tea, coffee, booze, watch that. And of course, I'm going to say to you, 2 litres of water as a minimum a day is really, really important. But I'm not the fun police. So if you want a burger, make a really nice burger, because you are going to enjoy that burger in the bottom corner of that screen, and it's far more nutrient dense than some sweaty burger in a polystyrene box that you've got as you drove past somebody's little cabin. So make it worthwhile. Whatever you choose to do, choose consciously and make it worthwhile, because it's all about getting that balance. So what is your challenge with your food at the moment? Write it down and think about what one thing you can change. Again, be realistic. You are not going to have kale salad every day. I love kale, a lot of people don't. Rich is going, look. But whatever it is, that one thing, write it down and commit to it. Now, these next 2 areas, this is the key to really nailing the first 2. Because your mindset in this respect is absolutely everything. So watch your self-talk here, okay? If you're hearing yourself go, I haven't got time, it won't make any difference now. It's too late. It's too late for me. Because I've put on half a stone or more. I've lost all, that picture there was me just before, me running Westonbirt 10K, it was literally like 2 weeks before Chris was killed. And at that point, I was running 4 times a week. I was still really slow, and I still nearly died running up the 25 steps to end a 10K race. That was cruel. But I look back at that photo now, and you know, on a bad day, I'm like, I can barely run a day now, because I was injured last year and all my confidence to do it has gone again. But if I focus on that, I will never get back out there with my trainers. So when I put my trainers on, even if I go out for 20 minutes and come back a sweaty, stinking, horrible mess that sounds like a sweaty, panting sex pest, at least I went. At least I went. I did my best. I did it. So where is your focus? If your work clothes don't fit anymore, are you going to go and buy bigger ones, or are you just going to try and tweak some things to help you feel like you've got back in? Because it isn't too late. Your power is in starting now. Draw a line in the sand and starting now. That is where your power is. But it's also about mastering those little voices in your head that go, no, you can't do that, it's too late, no, all of those things. Because those are not helping your focus. Now, this might seem my hippiest question to you of the day. This is a little bit wafty, but it's a very, very powerful question. If I truly loved myself, what would I do? So I will frequently challenge clients when they're saying, but I like eating this, but I like doing that, but I, you know, would you be all right with your best friend doing that? Would you be all right giving your child that to eat? Do we look after ourselves? Do we treat ourselves with the same care, the same love, the same affection as we treat everybody else around us? Or are we the absolute afterthought? Now, if that is a little bit too wafty with us, I'm just going to say to you this. Your power is in what you can do. So what can I do about this? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. And put the focus in the right direction. What do I like to eat? What do I enjoy doing? Forget about the other stuff, because that's just an excuse ultimately. But I can't do that because I don't like it. I can't do that because it's horrible. I don't like the taste of it. Well, don't eat it then. What do you like to eat? Because those are the things that we're going to focus on. Now, if you're struggling with your little voices, I have a special treat for you. Last week, Adam, who was on the call earlier, did a fantastic workshop called Little Voices about mastering your mindset. Now, he's been running this course for, I think, between 15 and 20 years. And, you know, without blowing smoke up his ass, he's bloody good at this one. He's really good at this one. So he has said that he is willing for you guys to tap into the recording of that workshop. It's about an hour and a half, but it is well worth a listen. It's well worth having that recording and going back to it when you dip into that kind of rabbit hole place where those little voices are getting on top of you. So screenshot this screen if you can, or take a photograph of it, saves you trying to scribble things down. But if you use that Skinny Rhino contact link, then he and Charlie can send you the link of the recording. All that they ask is that you're willing to make a donation to Winston's Wish for that privilege. It was a free training, and all that we did was made a donation for that training. Winston's Wish are an incredible charity. They supported us when Chris died. They literally put us back together again. So if you want access to that recording, screenshot that right now. And he said that you can have a listen to that recording. And I absolutely, unquestionably know it will help to move you if mindset is something that challenges you. Thanks for agreeing, Rich. I know you've enjoyed that too. So with your mindset, where's your challenge? Where are your little voices? What little voice saying what thing is something that you need to change? And again, be realistic, because you need to write this down so that you can commit to it. So even if it's learning to just say, shh, to that little voice, that is really powerful. Not everybody is motivated by, I'll show you, I'll prove you wrong. Sometimes we're not in a strong enough place to say that. So all you need to be strong enough for right now is shh when it starts. Okay? So the last section I want to take you through really quickly, I'm conscious of time, is lifestyle. What are you doing? Have you got style in your life right now? As business owners, we give. We're working because we're working for that better future. We're working for that family time. But are we actually living a life right now, or are we just existing? So I'm saying to you, if I gave you the day off tomorrow with absolutely no responsibilities at all, write down for me now, what would you choose to do? I'm not going to ask you to share that with anybody else, but what would you choose to do if you had a day to yourself tomorrow? Would you be by yourself? Who would you choose to be with? Where would you choose to be? What would you choose to be doing? There's some very thinking faces on the screen right now. So when it comes to lifestyle, we need to think work, rest, and play. So at work, in your business right now, look at these three things: communication, delegation, and collaboration. Are you communicating effectively with everybody around you? With the people you work with the people you work for, with your clients, with your customers, with your network of people that you're reliant on? Is that communication working? Is there a clunk in that? Is there something that's not working in that? Is there a glitch in that system at the moment? Are you delegating everywhere you can? Have you got the communication in place to delegate effectively and efficiently? And are you collaborating wherever you can to make your life easier, to make your services more efficient? So can you communicate to delegate and collaborate in your business right now? At home, are you making family time? I know that we've just said they're around us and they keep breathing next to us and like tapping on the laptop and like stuff. And when they're on a phone call, they don't even sound like my husband or sound like my wife anymore. But are you making family time? Because we can also often throw ourselves into business because it's for them, for this magical future, and suddenly realize we've not necessarily left them behind, but they're not with us on that journey. We've alienated ourselves from them by being so focused on this future that we're working for, or this flexibility that we're working for. Working for ourselves often means we're around for the family and then we realize it's taken us away from the family. That wasn't what it was supposed to be. So have you sorted out that family time? And how about the you time? You know, even amongst family time, are you getting time with your partner? Are you getting time just for you? You know, this is what we do. We send them off with the dog down to the beach. You go that way and we're going this way. But are you making that time for the family and for you? Are you getting that time? And when it comes to play, what is topping you up? You know, do you listen to music? Do you play music? Are you an avid reader? Are you getting a chance to stick your head into books that are not just workbooks or learning about things or self-development books? Are you disappearing on a yacht with some hot Spanish fella, if that's what you particularly like reading about? All the blokes like, no. If you're a creative person, are you having that opportunity in your time to be creative, to make things, to sit down with the children and make things, if that's something that you like to do together? Or maybe for you, playtime is exercising, it's going to the gym, it's getting out for a run, it's going out for a walk. Are you having the time for that now? And rest. When did you last just stop? Put your feet up, forget about it all. You know, if you believe in Reiki and meditation, yoga, Pilates, energy therapies, are you giving yourself that opportunity still? And when did you last feel that you slept like a baby? So sleep in itself, again, is a massive, massive thing. You know, how is your sleep? Have you got any sense of routine? Are you getting enough sleep? You know, that 6 up there is a golden figure. I realised Margaret Thatcher was the expert in sleeping on virtually no hour, you know, existing on virtually no hours of sleep. But actually, we need 6 hours worth of sleep to rebalance our system, to refresh our system, to repair our system. More than that is amazing if you need more, but consistently less than 6 hours sleep will massively increase your risk of type 2 diabetes, massively. That's quite a scary thought. So are you getting enough sleep, and are you getting quality sleep? And I'll come to that clock at the bottom in a second. So there are millions of considerations with sleep, but I want you to focus on the 3 S's for now. We all know that screen time doesn't help us with our sleep. So we shut the laptop down at a sensible time, don't we? And then we go onto the tablet or the phone instead, because that's different. Stop laughing, I know it's true. And then we're like, no, must put the phone away. So then we read on our Kindle instead, and not all of those have got the right kind of light. So again, I'm not wagging my finger, even though I just did then, just be mindful of it. You know, our screens got later and later and later for you. Stimulants, again, you know, are you drinking a bit of caffeine too late? Are you drinking a little bit too much wine before bed? Is that helping or is that hindering you? And the support for your sleep, physically, like pup. You know, have you got a decent pillow? Is your mattress right for you? Are you too hot? Are you too cold? Does your partner like a really thick duvet and you're like, dying here? You know, I need the windows open. Do you need a snuggly blanket on top of you to feel like you're pushed into bed and that you can sleep? So physically, are you getting the right support for sleep? And in terms of nutritionally, there are some key foods that you can have later in the day. There are some key foods I wouldn't have, like really spicy curries or really, really heavy meals. But if you need a bit of help, then magnesium-rich foods, you can see the nuts, the seeds on there, bananas, peanuts. Dark chocolate is on there, but if you have too much of it, you're not only going to get a lovely magnesium kick, but you're going to get a massive, great caffeine kick as well. So just go steady on the green and blacks. Other dark chocolate brands are available. Okay, but your green leafy veg is really important for your magnesium, and magnesium is really important for all of your sleep hormones. All of your hormones are highly dependent on magnesium. And the foods that are rich in tryptophan, you can see there, poultry, meat, eggs, dairy, your pulses, your nuts, all of those kind of things are really important to top up your tryptophan. Tryptophan is a precursor to melatonin, your sleep hormone. So those 2 things in particular are really important. Just a very quick word about the Chinese clock on the left-hand side. A lot of people wake up between 2 and 5 in the morning. And you can see that between 2 and 5 in the morning, the liver, the lungs, and the large intestine, your detoxification organs of your body, are working really hard. If you are consistently waking up at between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning, it's quite possible that one of those parts of your body is working really hard because of something you've done in the previous 18 to 20 hours. So rather than going into rest and repair phase, it's going, oh my God, what did you do today? I can't sleep, I've got to work hard. So just be mindful, are you always waking up at the same time? If you are, there could be something that we could look at based on that. Okay, so once again, with your lifestyle choices, what are you not doing that you could be? Choose your thing. Again, be realistic, write it down and commit to doing it. 10 seconds. What's it going to be? Ultimately, 80% of you that are on this call will have found 80% of this all right, but only 20% of it has really resonated, and that's fine. 80% of you will do nothing with it, and that is also fine. And of the 20% of you that do something with it, 80% of you won't stick to it, and 20% will. So which chunk of people do you want to be in? And this is where I come back to the change one thing principle, because making change is overwhelming, particularly when you're looking at all these different areas of life. But actually, the change one thing principle is to stop you feeling overwhelmed. And my challenge there is look at it in 3-week cycles. You have 4 areas, but the mindset is actually kind of tying them all together. But if you chose one of those areas and focused on just that one thing for 3 weeks, that's when a habit starts to form. 3 weeks later, you could build on it with the second strand. 12 weeks time takes you into the new year. How different could things be in 12 weeks as you start 2021 and finally tell 2020 to toddle off? Okay, and remember to ask for some help. So screenshot this screen. There's another reminder of that number, but this is all of the different ways that you can connect with me if you need to. It has been a real privilege to have a chance to chat to you today. I apologise for the squeaking and snuffling in the background. Lottie's just woken up, so she's now going to start joining in with the conversation. But this is all the ways that you can get in touch with me if you need to. I hope that even just a tiny thing that you've heard today is something that you can take away, and it will be of help to you as you navigate your way through the rest of a very, very strange year. So thank you guys for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you, Beck. Has anyone got any questions for Beck? Could you send me the slides? Can I send the slides to everyone?
Yeah. I sure can. Yes, no problem at all.
Okay. Has anyone got any questions? I've got a question.
Yes.
With your experience, what would you say is the first thing to change?
That's a really great question. I think it takes looking at the things that you've written down, because quite often you realise one of them is having an impact on the other things. So for a lot of people, for instance, they haven't got the energy to even muster the thought of putting on a pair of trainers and going out for a walk. A lot of the time that is because they're not fueling their body in the right way to even have the energy to put their trainers on and go out for the walk. They're not fueling their body with the right spectrum of vitamins and minerals that puts their head in the right place to say, yeah, I'm topped up with B vitamins, I'm in a good place, I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling it's achievable. So I guess for a lot of people, food can be the first place. And I don't mean food from a cut back and stop eating this and stop eating that point of view. For some people, it is just, you know what, I'm going to try and eat my 5 veg a day and a couple of bits of fruit. I'm going to try and eat 6 different colours today. Great thing to do with kids, if any of you have got children, is to get them to track how many different colours they can eat during the course of a day. How many different fruits and vegetables they can eat through the course of a week. And if they've had one, they can't write another one on the list unless it's a new one. So they can have a second banana in the week, but they can't write it on the list. They've got to write something new next time they have something new.
Great. Any other questions? Anyone got any comments?
Can Rebecca give us an inspirational book she's read recently?
Ooh. Oh, now which one to choose? So currently I am reading lots of different things. So I've just read a book by a lady called Pauline Cox, who runs a company called Sow and Arrow down in Clevedon, just sort of North Somerset. And it's called Primal Living in a Modern World. And it's absolutely about sort of switching our bodies from being so sugar dependent to being fat burners. Now, that doesn't mean you have to absolutely go down the keto lifestyle, but it's a really interesting read in terms of the way that our bodies behave and how reliant in the Western world we've become on carbohydrate-based diet. So that's been a really great book to read. I've just got a book, literally arrived in the last couple of weeks, called Walk with Your Wolf. And that's a book that is about sort of the power of getting outside and walking. So when I send the slides over to Rich, I'll send the full book reference for that. But I can send a book list over of little bits and bobs that might be useful to you. But one of the most powerful books I've ever read, without question, is Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect. And it is so true to so many areas of life. And I lean on the compound effect literally in every part of my business. So I didn't get on with The Slight Edge. Have any of you come across Jeff Olson's Slight Edge? Similar principle. It's just that, you know, making that slight change is having the slight edge is what makes the difference. I first heard it as an audiobook. I didn't like his voice, so instantly I was switched off from it. But Darren Hardy's Compound Effect really sort of hit home with me. And I think that principle of change one thing and believe that that one thing is where it starts. And if I can build one more thing on top of my one thing, that's going to compound. You know, we didn't, if we have put on a stone in lockdown, we haven't done it in one meal when we basically had one Jabba the Hutt kind of moment. We did it step by step by step over lots and lots of decisions and lots of choices that we made. But we can reverse that journey in exactly the same way if we are patient and if we commit to that. So I would say Darren Hardy's Compound Effect is probably my favourite all-time business and mindset book.
Thank you. Sorry, the postman's arrived.
Is it something good?
I wonder if it's a book.
I wonder if it's a book, yeah. Or a veg box.
Yeah. Anyone else got a question? Anne's got a question.
Yeah, Rebecca, your insight into sleeping, about having 6 hours, which is really good sleep. Mm-hmm. I do that, but I can't go to, if I go to bed at 11:30 and try to read, I'm sort of wide awake. So I don't go to bed till about gone 12, because I know within the hour I will be asleep. Yeah. I've tried to go to bed early, I've gone like 10 o'clock and stuff like that. But it doesn't happen. So I now don't fight that. I go to bed at 12ish, 12:30, and I know within half an hour I'm asleep. Yeah. And I don't hear a thing until 7 o'clock, not at all. Yeah. I don't even hear my husband getting up to the toilet. So,
Angela, I wish more people trusted themselves like that. I wish we tuned in to ourselves intuitively more. We don't tend to trust, you know, nobody knows your bodies better than you guys do. Even someone that claims to be an expert, they're not you. And tuning into your body, whether it's your sleep patterns, your hormones, your mood, your digestion, that is where the answers are going to come from for you. You know, if you eat something and you feel like something died in your insides the next day, that's your body saying to you, don't do that again. Yeah. But do we listen, or do we just override it because we like cake? Or you know, being interested in our own behaviours, but being switched on and tuned in, and then trusting, really tuning in and trusting our bodies. There's so much that we can learn if we tune in, but we've just got into that kind of treadmill lifestyle of just keep going. Yeah. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, because I live with all my family now. We all decided to move in together since December, which has been really helpful through COVID. But they all go off to bed at 10:30. They say, aren't you going to bed? I went, no, I'm not going to bed. "Oh, well, you'll be tired in the morning." I said, "I won't be tired in the morning, but I'm up before them and they're knackered when they get up." Whereas I feel okay.
Time then, when they've all gone to bed, you've got that lovely kind of wind down time to do whatever you choose with it as well.
I watch the telly on my own, which is lovely because no one's interfering with me.
My remote control.
yeah. So, and they say, "Oh, you don't have enough sleep." No, I do have enough sleep. So this is me. This is what I'm doing. So
it seems to be that sort of, you know, for years we've had 8 quoted at us, haven't we? And for some people that's just not realistic. But 6 seems to be the one they come back to in terms of scientific research as a really impactful number. Adam's theory is that you have to do it in groups of 3. So if you have 3, 6 or 9, that's fine. But if you have the number that doesn't fit in with the power of 3, you've screwed yourself.
Oh, no, I'll stick to my 6. I'm quite happy with that. Thank you.
Right. Have we got any other questions? Just quick. No, well, I think if you hadn't all the questions, you must have done an amazing presentation. So thank you.
Either that or they're just like that.
And lots of people have got things to take on board, hopefully. And so we can find out more about you on all those links that you shared, and I'll put them all in the email I send out to everyone later. But thank you very much, Becca. It was brilliant.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Just before we finish, because I always finish at 2 o'clock on the dot, a couple of things I've just shared in the chat. There is some funding available. A small business recovery grant for Herefordshire businesses has opened. The applications have opened today. It's on a first come first serve basis. So if you want to know if you fit into any of the categories there to see if you're eligible for that, then please have a look at the link I put in there. And the other thing is the Marches Business Summit is on Thursday afternoon, October the 15th, 2 till 3:30. It's where the LEP for Telford and Wrekin, Shropshire and Herefordshire all want to get together, and they want to know how they can best help with businesses making a recovery plan for the LEP area. So if you're interested in attending that, I'll be on that call on Thursday between 2 and 3:30. I've also put the link in there, so it'll be good to try and get some Herefordshire businesses along representing the county, so that they still remember that we're still here. We're not just Telford and Wrekin and Shropshire. So I'll be attending that. Has anyone else got anything quickly they want to share? I know Beth put a comment in about, do you want to mention about? You're on mute.
There you go. Yes, it's just to say that I'm a huge believer in complementary therapies to help my, sorry, I can't speak. They're obviously not helping my articulation. Complementary therapies to support my well-being. I've had 3 sessions since Yeleni opened, and it just has a massive impact. I also learned how to do Reiki, and that really supports sleep, so I do that for myself. So complementary therapies are really helpful. I don't know if that we've got other fans amongst us, but very good.
Okay, brilliant. Mike, welcome, Mike. Good to see you.
Yeah, hi everyone. I just wanted to mention to everyone that I work for a company called Intrabiz, and we're doing a global summit at the end of November, 25th to 27th, which is full of 30 speakers from around the world. Some of the top speakers like Les Brown and Brian Tracy, Sharon to the event. And I thought I'm on board. I do a lot of networking with people all around the world and the UK. If any of you want to come onto a global summit and learn from some of the top speakers on the planet, then you can find out more at intrabiz.co.uk. Great to meet you all.
Great, thank you. And if you send me the links, Mike, I'll put that in the email as well. Okay, we're on 2 o'clock, so I like to finish on the dot. Thank you again for attending. We'll be back again in November. If you know of someone who would be a great speaker or would do a really good presentation that's not salesy and not just a whole sales pitch, because we don't want to hear that, do we? There's enough of that going on. Then please email me or give me a call if you know someone who would fit in to one of these online meetings that we want to carry on with for the near future while we're still where we are. But thank you again for attending. I'll send all the details over as soon as I get the recording back from Zoom, and have a great rest of your week.